This is a transformer. This is another transformer. Big transformer, baby transformer. Okay, so we have these two transformers, all right? So before I get into dismantling them, let's talk a little bit about transformers overall. So let's talk about transformers first. Do you remember about transformers, mystery student?
Yes, Jacob, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
remember.
So this is how we draw transformers, right? This is going to be the soft iron core, right? And soft iron core has two coils wrapped around it. This is how we draw those. So this is a coil, which is the primary coil usually, or it might be secondary, depends on what I draw with the power supply. And say this is another coil. So as you can obviously notice, there's less turns here, there's more turns here. So if this is the primary, then obviously this will cause step up, right? So now what happens is, let's talk a little bit about how it works and everything. So if this is the primary coil, number one, what you have to remember is it only works for alternating current. So that basically means that when there's a changing magnetic field generated by the primary coil, it creates a magnetic field which passes through the iron core. And then this passes to the secondary coil, induces an alternating EMF in it. So if they were to ask you the questions that's with this, then what are the points? Basically, alternating current in the primary coil induces an alternating magnetic field in the primary coil, which passes through the iron core. This alternating iron core cuts through the secondary coil, induces an alternating EMF in it. So that's pretty much it. So now, if this is our output, say we can put a voltmeter here, then the output would obviously be an alternating output. Transformers don't work on DC, they only work on AC. And even if you do have a DC supply, what would you see? You will see a deflection when you turn it on, and then you're going to see a deflection when you turn it off, right? So now let's compare the diagrams we draw with the actual transformers we have in real life. So you can see there's these two blue things. These are the actual two coils. So we'll take one of these apart in a bit. So one of them is the primary, one of them is the secondary coil. So except for the cables, there's no other way of identifying which is what. But so we have the two coils, and they're basically wrapped around the same iron core. Makes it even more efficient. So if I was to draw a transformer based on what it looks like, this is what they should draw it like, but they don't draw it because it confuses students. So in reality, this is what it would look like. Yeah, there you go. So there's an iron core, iron rod going through this, goes around here, goes around here. So this is basically the iron core. And the primary coil and the secondary coil would look something like this. Like one of the coils would be here, and another coil would be here. So that's basically the design that is actually used in real life. So, and there's a bit of maths related to transformers. So what the maths is, if you notice here, it says input is 220 volts, 50 hertz, and the output is 9 volts into 2, 600 milliamperes. So if we were to keep that very simple, let's say we round this off. 9 volts into 2 is 18, right? So instead of that, let's just say 20 volts. So that means if this was a step up transformer, right? Actually, this is a step down transformer, right? Input is higher, output is lower. So this is a step down transformer. So what we can say is voltage in the primary is 220 and voltage in the secondary is 18, or let's say 20, right? So if that's the case, then what does this mean? We can make an entire set of equations for this. Basically, number of turns in the primary divided by number of turns in the secondary is equal to voltage in the primary divided by voltage in the secondary. So this is basically 220 divided by 20, so which is 11 is to 1, right? If my math is correct, yes. So that means the number of turns in the primary is going to be 11 times more than the number of turns in the secondary. And also another important thing is, they didn't mention it here, but if this is 600 milliamperes, the output voltage, then the input voltage is going to be 11 times less, right? So that basically means that if we extend this equation, NP by NS is equal to Vp by Vs is equal to Is by Ip. So Is by Ip secondary by primary, that's also going to be equal to 11 by 1. So that would mean that the current in the primary is the current in the secondary, which is 600 divided by 11 milliamperes. So if we do some quick math, what was beta? 20 something, I guess. Let's see. 600 divided by 11 is, oh sorry, my bad, 54.5. So basically, let's say 55 milliamperes. So yes, that's basically what we get. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break apart this transformer. All right, I'm going to show what it looks like inside so that you can actually get a real picture of how it works. All right, let's get to this. Okay, so I'm going to first take off the, there's this metal covering around it. And as I go through it, I'll just give a quick review of transformers and how they work. So basically, the things that you're supposed to get on the inside of this transformer is number one, an iron core. But the iron core is very different from the stuff that we studied so far. Can anyone tell me online, what would we expect on the inside of the iron core, which is different from the stuff that you studied in books? Whoever can give me, the first person who can give me the answer will be nominated as a potential student of the day. What will be different? The correct answer, whoever gives the correct answer. What's going to be different on the inside of this transformer compared to what you read in books? Except for the coiling and everything, something about the iron core. Come on, who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? No idea? Nobody's going to say what's going to be different? I'm waiting for answers. Can nobody tell me what's going to be different inside the transformer? Oh, wow, Ahmed Zabir. Ahmed Zabir, you're the man, and he is correct. You have what we call a laminated iron core. See, this is soft iron, but notice something. It's not one piece. It's actually broken into sheets of iron. So, too late, Monmoy, too late, too late. So if you notice this, you're going to see that these are all made in layers. And the iron, it's a little oily also. That's because the way it's constructed. So basically this is the iron core and everything. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking this apart, right? Oh, there we go. I could benefit if I had a pair of pliers. I guess I'll have to just make do with what I have. Ahmed Zabir ছেলেটা smart আছে ওই দিনও সে আরো কি জানি বলছিল I was thinking about giving him student of the day, but আজকে he completely ফাড়াই ফেলাইছে. But Monmoy, I'll give you a chance to win student of the day if you can answer this question. Why is it made in layers? And that goes to everyone again, including Ahmed Zabir. You can get student of the day times 2. Oh, damn. Student of the 2 days. Okay, this is just a piece of the layer. Oh, there we go. So look, it's an E. Do you see that? It's a metal E. So yeah, এখন, there's a lot of irony inside a transformer. So we'll have to actually go through all the layers. Oh my god. And then we have another layer here. It's going to get easier as we increase the spacing. Slowly I'll be able to take them apart by hand, but not yet. Oh, look at all that irony. That's a good one. That was a perfectly placed one. That was, I think, the best pun I have cracked in my years of teaching.
Wow, okay.
This is better than dinosaur. Did you hear the dinosaur one?
No.
So why is... Oh my god, people need to stop calling. So yes.
The dinosaur and a shore.
A dinosaur. Like, why was a dinosaur called a dinosaur? Kind of like, like একদিন একটা বাঙালি হেঁটে যাচ্ছিল বিশাল একটা অ্যানিমাল দেখছে রাস্তার মাঝখানে তারপরে হাই ডাইনোসর. So like, that was really bad. Second best was, what do you call a kid who cooks?
Oh, Babuchi.
Baburchi. Oh
That
my.
wasn't yours.
But it got me triggered, man. So much tail, man. This has more tail than my kachi. Do you see all of this irony? Like, no, I'm not joking. And now I'm not even like, like there's so
So
many.
many. And then you're gonna put it back together.
Ah, no. Are you crazy? So, yes. Oh, that's a lot of irony right there. I won't crack that anymore.
And it smells like shit.
No, it doesn't. It smells like it's got this metallic smell to it. If you can, like, you can give this to someone, and then you can take it back, and then you say you don't get the irony. Oh. Anyway, guys, so as you can see, these are the two coils which were wrapped around the thing, the iron core. Actually, don't write irony in your actual paper. So that's going to be ironic. Okay, I need to stop cracking that. So anyway,
You're
yeah.
obsessed.
Huh?
You're obsessed.
Maybe. So basically, these are the two coils, right? One of them is going to be primary, another is going to be secondary, right? When I hear them, this feels a little heavier, right? So this means this has more number of turns. This would have less number of turns. So what does this mean? If this was the primary, if this was the secondary, then this is a step down transformer, right? Because this is greater voltage, this is lesser voltage. And if we were to flip them around, then this would have lesser voltage, right? So this would be a step up transformer. So yes, that's basically the inside of a transformer, and it's going to be the same thing inside this. And no, I'm not going to break this apart, but as you can see, there's two coils, one on top of the other, and the iron core is also laminated. Basically, it prevents energy loss by causing current flow along this axis. All right, it prevents current flow along this axis. This is where we don't want current along this plane, so that's why we have lamination. Basically makes the transformer even more efficient. So yes, that's it, guys. We're done with transformers for now. If you guys have any questions or any queries, feel free to ask. We have a few minutes extra. Can you please list the steps for how transformers work? All right, again, alternating current in the primary coil induces an alternating magnetic field in the iron core. This passes through the secondary coil, causing flux lines to cut through the secondary coil, inducing an alternating magnetic field in the alternating EMF is induced in the secondary coil. That's it. Easy as done. Good night. Thank you for your time. This was a fun dismantling session we had. And I hope you guys understand that whatever you need to understand from that.